Hello, everyone. I'm back. I made it here back, and I am coming back to the original style of the lives where I am here to share what is coming to me to share. And I'm going to save the other stuff that's more like really presenting a specific topic or um, way of working with, helping, or growing your hypnosis business for the recorded uh, videos. Because when I try to mix the two, it just doesn't work. And really, I did want to, I really feel called to every message I'm getting, every card I'm pulling, every time I'm writing. The message just keeps coming so clear. Share what you've learned, share what you've gone through, share what's been going on for you, not just as a healer, as a professional healer for the last 12 years, but like as a human that has been going through a healing journey for over 20 years. And I don't want to say something like it never ends because I actually don't really think of healing anymore in the way I used to. Like, I don't really think of healing anymore in this way that, like, something's broken or wrong with us. And, like, then healing becomes self improvement, and self improvement is not self love. I actually just created a reel on my Instagram that I am going to be posting soon. That's literally about how self improvement is not the same as self love. So you can definitely check that out at Hypno Heather. And, feeling into that, the idea of that more, it's why sometimes I don't know what word to really use. Hey, Dale. Nice to see you here. I'm back live. I have a few minutes in between sessions, and I had such an insight, so many insights and awarenesses come up as a result of the past life regressions that I had being the demo in the class, as well as going through my own process and then going to therapy today. And basically, what's been showing up for me is this idea, like, again, I don't like to say, oh my gosh, the healing never ends, because I feel like that sounds like a something's wrong with us, or like if we don't fix it, we're not okay. It's more like, to me, the healing is like, what can we let come up in our minds and be kind of felt into or explored or even understood in order to actually have peace of mind, contentment, freedom, happiness. And that's what I think of as like psychological health and psychological healing. And when I look at how whatever I still have to learn and whatever I'm still learning, I feel like this is something I have hacked. This is something where, like, kind of no matter what's happening or what anyone is doing, even if I have like some type of feeling about it, I feel at peace. I feel calm and capable of letting anything come in and out. So I'll tell a quick story while I'm here, which is um, basically about how when I was teaching my past life, when I was teaching my regression hypnotherapy class with Sarah, I was the demo for her to show the class past life regression. And in the first past life regression, I went through a whole life and I had a lot of difficulty dying. And it just made sense because I had been, and I still have a little bit that I'm just holding on to and not like fully stepping into like my next world. I keep pulling the card in between worlds. And so that, there's a lot of things that happen in past life regressions that just connect so perfectly, and like you can't even deny it, to life now, which is why I love it, because I love getting this like imagery and story and the richness of history in a little package that gives us like this insight and information for our lives now. So that was really cool. And then I did another one that ended up, but I didn't realize this till the end, that I was in the same life. But the interesting thing about this one is when I went to the guide, so what we do is we go to the death scene of that life, and then we go to the guide, the person's guide, once they've left the body and they're in the spirit realm. And so I was in the spirit realm, and usually I have like similar guides, and oftentimes it's this Egyptian goddess. And this time it was my dad, and my dad had passed in October 2021. And I'd felt some connection, and in some previous therapy I did a little bit of talking to him as the spirit that he is now, rather than the man he was. And so he came in as my guide, and I was like, nope, you can't be my you can't be my spirit guide. I told him, no, you can't be my spirit guide, because, and he's like, why? And I said, because like you're too judgmental, and I don't want you like seeing everything that I'm doing, and then I have to somehow feel ashamed or bad or something. And he laughed and said, you've got to stop seeing me as the man that I was, and see me as the all loving, unconditional being that I am now. And I was like, yeah, I get that, but I don't know. And I was doing this all in the context of hypnosis. So if you know what that's like, or if you don't know what that's like, it's a very relaxed space. And what's happening in this is, because it's a feeling and perceiving space, I'm really feeling things. I'm really feeling what's coming up in this moment. And what ended up happening, because like I couldn't just let him be my guide. And then my subconscious mind really took over and did this like inner child healing work, and like showed him, but this is what you didn't give me when I needed this, or because you didn't give me this, then I went on and made these decisions, or these kind of maybe bad choices in my life without this foundation or with that. And I just like really all this imagery and like emotion came up, and I was like, here's what happened, and as a result of this, of you not being able to be there for me. And it was just so healing. And if anyone's ever done inner child healing work, but that's what we do, right? We validate the child. So it's kind of natural. Like I just went into that because I've done that work so many times, like thousands and thousands of times. So I went into that with him. And then he ended up saying, I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there for you in the way that you needed me, in order to have that strong foundation of a male relationship moving forward for your life. And I might get a little bit emotional, because it's just so healing to be able to not only just say, this is how I felt, but then to have that validated. I think it's a really important point too, because like that validation is always in our mind, even if we got it from someone in life. Like actually, I mean, I actually did get some validation from him in my life before he passed. But even when we have it in our lives, it is far more potent in the imagination, and especially connected to really being willing to feel into the feelings that got stuck there, that needed validation. Because we're not even ever saying, is that true? Or is that, we're just saying, this is what I felt. This is what came up. And then this is what I was able to hear him say. And, because of that, it's changed. It's changed the way that I interact with him. It's changed the way that I think of him. And it really has changed even parts of myself that I had been judging, and sort of feeling like there was that, father figure judgment. And this kind of all came together today in therapy, because I'd been doing this work, and I've really been facing and going through the door of my discomfort to get beyond some of these avoidance mechanisms that I learned as a result of that relationship with my dad. So I've already been exploring this and seeing this, and then being able to go to therapy today and just talk about it, and then have someone hold space for that, that is capable of holding space for that. And then see even more the connections, and not even just see the connections with him, but for all of my relationships and my friendships. And I think most importantly, I was really able to see how much I've grown and how much I have healed and how much I've been honoring that space in myself, because sometimes it just does feel like there's always more. And I don't know if I have it in me, or like, is this just the curse of being a healer and exploring these different sensations and perceptions that came from the past? Because I don't really look at the past as like something that has to be healed. I look at it as if information is still coming up about the past, that there is just something there that could be felt into or brought to awareness in order to be more present. And that's the victory. That's the victory of doing this type of work. This is, of course, the type of space that I hold for my students and for my clients. And I kind of say it like that. But what I've actually learned, which is also why I'm going to do the hypnosis certification training again in the fall, is that actually hypnotherapists are not often being taught to really hold that space. Like, they're definitely taught, if they're taught regression, they're taught to do this inner child healing. And don't get me wrong, there's like a lot of good trainings too. But I found in general, the average hypnotherapist isn't really being taught to just be the witness and to really hold the space for the richness of the narrative and the experience and the stories that the mind and soul of the client will produce in that fertile space, that is so valuable and so healing in a way that would just never happen if we, as the practitioner, are putting our perceptions or diagnoses on what they need. So that's sort of wrapping it all up. I'm definitely happy to be back and doing lives as just this free flow of sharing, because again, I feel so called to share. You can definitely hit the like or subscribe or hit the little bell if you want to know when I go live, or if there's a topic that you want me to rant on about or talk on about. I am super willing. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to my next client, and I will see you.